All right, let's do these 3D vertical blocks with spray paint. So I'm gonna sketch with the needle cap. So the first thing you wanna do is just kind of get like a basic cube. Go a little bigger. I think I went a little too far out that side. I'll come in a little more. About like that. And then from there you'll separate the cube depending on how many letters. So I have 3 letters, so you kind of try to imagine what the perspective would be like. And then same thing on here. So this would probably be sort of like that. It's a little off, but we're just gonna run with it. So then I'll start to block in my letters. I usually take the B out a little bit, so I'm going to pull this out further, and then this line will follow the same direction as this one, and then these will go out a little further. Yeah, it's about right. I really wish I didn't go so far out, but we'll see how it turns out. Then I like to put a little bit of separation between the letters. So kind of do something like that. And same thing down here. The S, I like to have the S, the top part of the S not go quite as far out, so that the bottom sort of kicks out a little bit. That's the basic sketch. God, this is really bothering me. I'm gonna fix that. This is just, I went too far out here, so I'm gonna buff this and start over. About that far. Just seemed like that wasn't right. Perspectives might not be exactly the way I want them, but all right, so I'll kick this out a little further. Kick this out a little further. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so I'm gonna do like a few shades of gray. So this is just gonna be like quick and dirty. So we'll use a slightly darker gray for these parts of the 3Ds, and then a darker shade of gray for these parts. Okay, so the darker gray is going to go in all these other spots. So these 3Ds, you would see a little bit, you see how it's angled up like this? You'd see a little bit of the bottom of the 3D, so this would angle in, and this would also angle in a little bit. So then on the S, you see how the angle is like this? So you'd actually see a little bit of the top of the 3D, so this would go in a little bit. So normally when I draw these, lately I've been adding like a slightly darker color around the edges so that it looks a little more worn. I haven't done that with spray paint yet, so I don't really know how that's gonna look. I didn't realize that I was mixing warm and cool colors when I picked these, but okay. So this hopefully will add just kind of a little bit of like a weathering look around the edges. Do some needle cap kind of details this, I would prefer a slightly lighter color than this. This is what I have, so I'm just gonna see what happens if I just kind of mist in some stuff with the needle cap. Give it some texture. So since that color was kind of dark, I'm just gonna mist on just some of this to kind of pull that back a little bit. I'll also take this gray, and even though this is like really small, I'll just add a little bit of color variation in these lower 3Ds. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to do my initial outline with the stock cap, or pocket cap, and then I'll probably grunge it up with the needle cap. So the outline, I want it to be, you can paint this clean if that's your preference, but I like it to be sort of grimy and kind of blotchy. Crack. So now I'm going to come back with the needle cap, kind of go over my outline and add extra grimy shit, cracks and details and stuff. So I'm just going to finish it with like a dirty light blue border or force field or whatever the fuck you call this. And this, obviously, you know, painting dirty is not your thing. This is probably like making your eyes bleed watching me paint like this, but if this would look perfectly fine if you did it clean. Anyway, that's the gist of it. If you have any follow-up questions, just let me know.